The first airplane, the creation of the internet, and Beyoncé are all related, and I'm going to prove it to you. So the Wright brothers' first flight in North Carolina led to Texas native Beyoncé eventually owning a private jet, which you can read about on the internet, created in California. Connections like those are the sort of thing that drive American studies. The vast, fascinating field devoted to uncovering the links between tons of different pieces of American history, culture, and society. It looks at all kinds of things from politics and protests to cable and conspiracy theories to see how they all add up into the America we know and sometimes love. Because when it comes to the big issues facing America, like justice and equality, or whether we'll run out of trees to make corkboards, there really is more to it than meets the eye. Hi, I'm Hank Green, and welcome to Fast Guides, a study hall series that explores different college majors. Now, when I hear American studies, I think of hot dogs, maybe a cowboy hat, maybe a larger than necessary truck. But what comes to mind for you? American studies is the study of America. Now, I know that's actually way more than the United States, but that's still what the field usually focuses on. It looks at U.S. history, culture, and society through things like literature, history, politics, and the arts. And it also helps us understand how different groups of people have shaped and been shaped by U.S. identity. Like way back in the 1930s, when the field of American studies first formed, people studying the U.S. were trying to figure out what caused the Great Depression, and in the 60s, they really focused on civil rights. Today, they're tackling stuff like diversity, inclusion, environmentalism, and the rise of technology, and understanding how U.S. society works can help us tackle the big, hard questions that face one of the world's most powerful countries. Unsurprisingly, American studies is a big field, focusing on everything from world wars to religious movements to conspiracy docudramas about whether the internet is even real. It takes an interdisciplinary approach, using all kinds of different lenses and pinning all kinds of things up on corkboards to study people's places in America, America's place in the world, and how all that got to be the way that it is. All that stuff is complicated, and a big part of American studies is understanding that things don't just have one explanation. Politics, economics, food, art, history, identity, even the sounds that are trending on TikTok, all of that stuff comes together to make up what it's like to be an American. Beyond just apple pie, baseball, banjos, and a passion for machine guns. So if you embark on this corkboard connections adventure, you'll take classes in lots of different fields. Some classes might be straight up American studies, like American protest, American foodways, or civil rights in American memory, that focus on different aspects of U.S. society, culture, and history. But a lot of them might come from other related departments, like sociology or anthropology, or history and economics, or African American, or gender and sexuality studies, or even philosophy, environmental science, archaeology, or English. They'll also cover all kinds of different themes, like history and institutions, culture and the arts, and race and ethnicity. All that variety means you have a lot of choice. American studies can be a pretty self-directed major where you get to pick classes based on what interests you the most. Lots of programs are going to have some core requirements so you don't get too specialized too fast, but whether you want to study colonial land acquisition in the Chesapeake Bay or the use of corkboards as a motif in 21st century procedural dramas, you'll be able to find classes that are right up your alley. In addition to those classes, you'll probably have to take at least one methods course where you'll learn how to study American studies. A methods course teaches you how scholars in your field know what they know, while teaching you how to evaluate their research and ideas, plus creating your own too. You'll learn stuff like research skills, qualitative methods, and ethical considerations, which are important when you're studying people and their communities. It'll teach you how to run and understand surveys, how to analyze literature, art, and primary sources, and how to make connections between all these different disciplines. That will set you up for success in all your other classes. Whatever department those classes are in, you'll probably be reading texts, having discussions, and writing papers, or just running red strings from thumbtack to thumbtack until it all comes together. Toward the end of your major, you'll probably do a capstone project or senior thesis, where you'll put up that corkboard and hopefully a well-written, well-researched Chicago-style paper and tell everybody what you discovered about Black folklore in the antebellum South, or disability in U.S. literary history, or U.S. imperialism in Game of Thrones, or the history of pop star celebrity private jet usage. If any of those topics sound interesting to you, or they sparked your own thoughts about U.S. folklore, literature, imperialism, or corkboards, you might be a great candidate for American Studies. People are drawn to American Studies because they have big questions. They want to understand the US through tangly topics like race, justice, and democracy. And a lot of times they do it because they think understanding those problems is the only way we can try to fix them. So, if you're a budding political activist or community organizer, or even just a curious person fascinated by one of the most powerful and influential countries in the world, you might find a lot of kindred spirits in American Studies. You might also find a lot of free spirits there, because, like we said before, American Studies usually gives you a lot of freedom. You get to take classes on topics that you're really interested in and build your own course of study depending on what speaks to you, which makes it a great major for self-directed learners who love to follow their hearts, from one pin on the corkboard all the way over to another. But on the flip side, if you're someone who likes structure and rules, a wild corkboard of rogue strings might be a little bit much for you. The interdisciplinary nature of American Studies mean there is no right way to do it, and no guarantee you'll come away with the exact same education as someone else. And even once you pick out your classes and start doing your homework, there are no right answers either. In American Studies, things aren't black and white. Complexity is the name of the game. So if the thrill of getting a question exactly right is part of what makes you love school, you might look for a major that's a little less gray. All that complexity also means that American Studies can get kind of heated. After all, you'll be studying the country's most pressing socio-political issues, stuff that people tend to have a lot of feelings about. Having those feelings is good. It's what helps keep American Studies majors invested, informed, and passionate about their work. But of course, it can also be really hard when someone else's feelings don't line up with your own, and in American Studies, that can happen a lot. After all, it's a field that studies the way that we, as Americans, live our lives. It challenges ideas and values, and asks us to look at things from tons of different perspectives. So you need to be ready to have your values and ideas challenged, or else you might end up tearing down your corkboard in a frenzy of hurt feelings and red string. But if you end up deciding American Studies isn't for you, there are lots of other majors you could try out. Fields like history, sociology, anthropology, and politics, African American Studies, Latin American Studies, or gender and sexuality studies tackle a lot of the same topics as American Studies in their own nuanced ways. So you can play around and find the approach that feels right for you. If you do continue on with American Studies, your career options could be as boundless as your coursework. Like right out of college, American Studies will set you up with the skills and know-how you need to go into community-based fields like activism, community education, and community organizing. You might find jobs like that with political groups, social service organizations, or nonprofits in your community. Pay for those kinds of jobs can start out pretty low and vary a lot. But in general, you could expect to make somewhere in the $40,000 to $50,000 range, or a bit higher. And if you're down for a little more training, there's even more you could do. A bachelor's in American Studies sets you up for grad school in a lot of different areas. Like you could get a teaching certificate and teach middle or high school social studies, which can make you around $65,000 a year, or you could go into social work with a master's of social work and make around $58,000. You could also go to law school and use your deep knowledge of America's complex systems to make more like $145,000 a year. Or if you can't part with your corkboard and Beyonce airplane connections, you could keep on looking at it. You could go on to get a master's or a PhD in American Studies or a related field. With a graduate degree, you could teach and research at the college level and make around $84,000 a year. And even if you decide to go a totally different direction, the skills you build with an American Studies degree will follow you anywhere. Finding the hidden connections that make things the way they are is useful in all kinds of fields, and not just TV detective work or Bayhive truthing. So if you're putting up corkboards in your dorm room to figure out all of America's triumphs and crimes to explain current US society, or if you merely want to be more informed about the history, culture, and society of one of the most powerful countries ever, an American Studies major could be the right way to go. After all, it's the study of people in the US, which definitely includes me and might include you. And just like you, it's nuanced and curious serious and full of big, important questions that need to be answered about Beyoncé and beyond. If you want to investigate more degrees before you choose a major, check out our other videos in this playlist. And to find out how to earn college credit with Study Hall, go to gostudyhall.com or click the link here or in the description. And if you want to help us out, give this video a like and a comment to tell us how you chose your degree or what you wish you'd known before you started college. Thank you for watching.